Good morning.
Good
Good
morning. How
morning,
you doing
everyone.
there?
Good morning to you, Rodney. Yeah,
All right.
I got my cup too. It's
Mm-hmm.
Monday morning, and you're watching the chat session on the This Way Network. And I'm Nina, and this is Rodney Allen Rippey.
Yep,
And we're so glad you're with us this morning. Rodney has a lot to show us because recently he made this trip.
that's right. That's right. I made a
Yeah.
wonderful trip from Southern California back to Richmond, Virginia. And today's subject really is preparing all communities for a brighter tomorrow. And so a lot of people are wondering, how is it? Where is this coming from? Well, as we all know, our wonderful President Trump has the bigger, better budget. And so he is making some big, huge plans. And I believe, from the best of my understanding, he's just wanting to get everybody revved up and back to work because he believes to make America great again, we need to be cranking, we need to be
Mm-hmm.
working. And that means every able bodied person in the United States activated and rolling. And so I was actually happy to be a part of something that actually took place at wonderful Virginia State University. And what actually happened, this is a collaboration between the West Point Society of Richmond and STEM Innovation Networks. This is kind of like an offshoot arm of the federal government because what they are wanting to do is get young people and adults pointed towards STEM. And a lot of people says, well, what is STEM? STEM stands for science, technology. Well, actually, it is STEM, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. However, as time has went on through education, it's now expanded and it was STEAM, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Now it's evolving again because it
Mm-hmm.
is called STREAM. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of an idea of my friend Bill Montgomery because he thought it would be great to add an R. So now it's STREAM, STREAM, science, technology, research, engineering, the arts, and math. Because every time a satellite goes up in space, good old Elon Musk and NASA and all of the other wonderful people, those trips are because of research. It isn't because they just like to go up and look down on the earth. They are going up to the moon because they're doing some heavy duty research. Well, what our federal government wants to do is to see every able bodied person engaged in this. Now, a lot of people don't know there are over 3,300 public housing authorities. Remember when you grew up, sometimes, I don't know if you remember or knew anybody that lived in public housing.
I
Sometimes,
did, yeah.
and so public housing are situations where the people were, because of a budgetary thing, they would only pay a portion of their rent or their stay. So let's just say if it was $1,000 for the rent, they might pay 275 or $300, and the federal government would kick in the other 700. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Trump said that's going to be coming to an end very shortly, and he wants everybody to go. And the average person, which a lot of people don't know, the average person living in a HUD community earns $10,000 a year. They want to get everybody up to $70,000 a year through what you call micro credentialing. So there are opportunities out there. Like, for an example, um, there's an organization that I met on another trip back to Washington, and it was called uh, buildsubmarines.com. Buildsubmarines.com. Well, believe it or not, that's our federal government, and they plan on hiring 250,000 people to build up our submarine armament. And I'm talking about brand new submarines, and the jobs are very high paying. They need pipe fitters, welders, they need electricians. And
Mhm.
the only way to get in is for you to be micro credentialed in something that is needed. And so, and these jobs are $70,000, $80,000. I know you look
All
like you
right, let
got
me ask a question. Yeah, I
sure.
do. I've had tons of questions right here that because I'm
Uh,
thinking, wow, this is incredible. Because it sounds like what they're helping people move into is jobs that AI is not going to take away. So there's some
that's
job
correct.
security there, right?
There is some
Because
serious
there's no
job
way
security.
for AI to do the welding or the pipe fitting or the. So is Rodney
Well,
is the
yeah. Well, I mean,
oh, don't tell me
truthfully,
there is.
no, I hate to tell you,
Okay.
they've they've got some machines that could do some serious welding too. But the problem is they still need tradesmen and
Hmm.
tradeswomen or journeymen and journeywomen to get engaged. Really, they want people to be activated. And
Right.
I was privy
So
to a
is that what micro credentialing is? Is we're talking about the trades?
yes, and it is actually
Okay.
learning something, and it may be AI driven. You don't have to understand all of AI. Just understand one section, one
Hmm.
sliver. Master that through a 3 or 4 month training, and now you could be employable at 70 or $80,000.
Wow. That's a
It's a
big wow.
it's a big wow. So imagine going from, and see, sadly, you know, you hear these stories, and when you start talking about public housing, there are people who say, well, my grandmother was in public housing, and my mom was in public housing, and I'm in public housing. Now you're looking at 3 generations who have been
Mhm,
in public housing, and people are starting to be
mhm,
concerned. And our good old president is like, that won't be happening for a 4th generation. So
mhm,
people, there's a quiet alarm that is ringing, and there is a clock, a 2-year clock
mhm.
that is ticking down. And in 2 years, a lot of the things that we know or relied on for many years, a lot of people don't understand that some of these programs were established, like the housing and things. These things have been established for 40 years. They are going to start
Mhm.
to downsize. I just talked to a gentleman yesterday. He goes, Rodney, I grew up in a housing community. He goes, that thing's gone. He goes, that thing's got high rises standing on it now. And I
Mhm.
was like, really?
Mhm.
Or very high end mixed use condos. And he
Mhm.
goes, and the people who
Mhm.
used to live there cannot afford to live there. They're gone. They're completely displaced and gone. And I
Mhm.
was like, so people worry about things like gentrification, and people are looking at all of these things. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, AC? And everybody, we're just saying a quick hello to everybody making our rounds. Good morning, Elvira.
Hey,
Elvira's here.
Amara, yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Elvira? Elvira's here, and a lot of great people. And so I actually have an invite. We may get a boop, and it might be Mr. Bennett, because Mr. Bennett is a colleague of mine, and I actually, he is a dear, dear friend of mine, and he was the one who invited me to Virginia State. And again, this was a collaboration
Mhm.
between West Point Society Richmond and the HBCU, the Virginia State University. And so this was a pretty cool collaboration. Now, one of the things that were happening, there were two local housing authorities that were near Virginia State University, West Point, and VSU invited these two housing authorities in to bring the parents and the little children so that they could experience high level technology at the campus. And so I was really, really excited because being there, I was part of this. We were there at the Department of Engineering and Technology, there at Virginia State University. Wow, let me tell you something. These young people were so sharp. They were computer science majors, they were engineering majors. They are the future. And so they wanted these small children from the housing authority to be able to visibly see technology so it could get their little minds rolling so that they could say,
Mhm.
oh, how can we do this?
I
Or
want to do
this looks like,
that. Yeah.
oh, yeah. So here's an example. This is me with a good old robot that was there. This is what they
Oh,
call a
my.
robo doggy. And this thing, Nina, was incredible. To see this thing actually do what it was supposed to do was pretty shocking. And there was a young man who was the computer science major or graduate, and he's coming back. He's going to go off to get his doctorate so he can come back and be a professor. Young man. I mean, this brother probably wasn't, but I don't know, 20 some years old, and he's coming back to be a professor at
Mm.
Virginia State University. I was blown away, and I was like, hot diggity dog, this guy is pretty cool. Let me show you something. This is going to knock your socks off. This is what two housing authorities, the youth, were able to see up close and personal to inspire them in stream. Here we go. Now that thing was a Boston Dynamics Robo Doggy, and that thing had LiDAR on it. This thing had radar. This thing had cameras on it.
Radar.
LiDAR. It's not
So what
radar.
is LiDAR? What
Lord
is
have mercy.
LiDAR?
I would have to go to technology school for that. I don't know. The gentleman spoke
Okay,
of it,
now I have to
and I
look it
was,
up.
oh yeah, you definitely have to go and look at it. And here's a little bit more video. Now this is also an interview with this young man who was actually operating this robot, and I want you to see this thing in action because it's very, very powerful.
It just holds the door. Okay, yeah, that was cool. It opened the door for us. He's like a good doggy. You're a good boy. Okay, now I want to see. Don't hold for the bed.
It's Rodney Allen Rippey. We're coming to you from Virginia State University. We have just seen some incredible footage of this incredible Boston Dynamics AI doggy that is incredible. I mean, this robot is incredible. What is your name, sir?
My name is Terrence Blunt, and I am an instructor here at the Virginia State University. I got my bachelor's in computer science here and my master's here in computer science from Virginia State University as well, and I am looking for a PhD program, presumably over at VCU. So eventually I can become a professor here.
Brother, I have to tell you, I saw you actually. You are actually a programmer. You're actually programming this robot and giving it directions, and it's incredible. It's agile. It's you know, a lot of times people feel like, are they dangerous? It seems that you had it completely under control.
Well, a lot of what's this robot dog, what I've been demonstrating thus far, right, was the result of pre-programmed instructions. It includes camera sensors, I believe, LiDAR as well, that help aid with its obstacle detection algorithms. So that way, the robot dog will be able to detect nearby obstacles and avoid colliding with them. The main feature about this robot dog is that it comes highly programmable through the use of an API interface. So there are use cases for this robot dog beyond just simple show and tell. There are examples where this robot dog has been used for search and rescue. There was a use case where it was used for as a bomb disposal unit. Those are just some examples of what this robot dog can do. Right now, there is a group of students here at the Computer Science Department in Virginia State University that are working on this robot dog as a project. What they're doing with this project is they are utilizing the API in order to send voice commands to it. And the way that they're doing this is they have a second computer, and what they're doing is they're connecting to the dog through that computer. And with this second computer, what they're doing, right, is they have voice recognition software on that computer. So they would give a command to the computer would interpret that command, and then it would send that same command to the dog. So if I were to say sit, right, the dog would sit. And if I were to say stand, the dog would stand. And if we wanted the dog to move around, we could tell it to do so like as such. The ultimate goal for their project, right, is to eventually get this robot dog to act as a tour guide. So if someone were, like a guest, for example, were wandering around campus and they were lost and they were looking for a specific room or a building, they could come talk to the dog, and the dog would be able to respond and follow and guide them to exactly where they're trying to get to.
Wow, this is incredible. I mean, and so would you say the next career opportunity, I mean, someone has to maintain it, someone has to program it. Where is the first steps for a young person who says, I need to be involved with this cutting edge technology?
To be more specific, do you mean building the robot dog or programming
Just maintaining it, programming it?
Oh, well, if you are looking for a start in being able to program stuff like this, I would recommend coming to the Virginia State University Department of Computer Science, where we do a lot of work teaching our students how to become better programmers and preparation for the workforce ahead of them.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you, sir, for a great demonstration. We got some incredible action video of this robot in action, and just the kids love it. And thank you for coming at it. It means a lot.
All right. No problem.
There you go. Hey, well, you've seen it right here at Virginia State University. And this is in regards to the West Point Society, Richmond, STEM Innovation Networks, and all the great intermediaries coming out to help this community and a community near you.
So
Nice video, Rodney. Thank you.
well, yeah, well, I actually did a series of approximately 26 interviews with people like him, and everybody loved it. Yep, that's right. Cool robo doggy. That's right. That dog, that thing could open doors and take lids off of things. And matter of fact, the local sheriff's department out here in California, they have one. That thing, that little robo doggy is one tough hombre, because they will send that thing into a house, and that thing is equipped with a gun, and that thing can shoot you. If that thing walks in your, oh yeah, oh yeah, that they've got different apparati that they could mount on that thing, and the guy sitting there in the safety of his car can walk that thing, and it'll open a door and walk in the house, and this thing's looking around. And if anybody jumps out, it kind of lights out for you, because that thing could just, and yeah, just kind of science fiction stuff. You don't want to look at that. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, there's a point right there. Like with all technology,
uh-huh,
in the wrong hands, that's pretty scary. But in the right hands, what you could
right.
do with it. I mean, that is amazing. So, Rodney, I looked up LIDAR. I want to read this to you because it tells us a lot about what that dog can do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, it says LIDAR stands for light detection and ranging. It's a
Right,
remote sensing technology that uses laser light to measure distances to the Earth's surface. It operates
right.
by emitting laser pulses and measuring the time it takes for the light to reflect back to the sensor. This method allows for the creation of precise three-dimensional models of the environment. So,
Right.
and then it went on to say some of the applications are they use it in mapping, they
Uh-huh.
creating high resolution topographic maps in forestry,
Hmm.
measuring vegetation height and density. You can
Yep.
imagine what that would do, for helping fight forest fires, for one thing.
Right.
Archaeology, discovering and mapping ancient structures.
Yep.
I've often wondered, some of those ones we've heard about that are actually below the ground,
Well,
and
that's
they
right.
haven't dug them up, but they know they're there. And I thought, how'd they know that? I bet it's with something like this.
Right.
Coastal management, analyzing shoreline changes and flood risks, and autonomous vehicles assisting in navigation and obstacle detection. And
It,
there are some that are mounted on aircraft and they're used for large area mapping. And then there are terrestrial LIDAR, which is ground based systems for detailed scans of smaller areas.
yep.
That's really amazing. I'm
Well,
just thinking about all the possible things you could use that for.
and see that little robot that was walking around, it was using LiDAR basically because the one thing is you don't want something walking around and bumping into things and hurting itself and falling over
Hmm.
and having a bunch of problems. And
Hmm.
that's really was the guiding factor. That little robot knew what was near it and what it was doing. Just like out here in California, they have it's kind of funny. In LA now they have these little robot baskets, four wheels and a basket. And this thing is going down the sidewalk all by himself, and it's left a store. And people can literally order groceries. This stuff gets loaded in and sent out the door. And this thing will go a quarter mile away from the store and
Hmm.
show up right in front of your door. And boop, the lid will pop open. And you
Wow.
reach in and take your groceries, and it'll thank you. And the lid will close, and this thing will turn around and go back to the store.
Wow. And can you imagine now, is it using the road or the sidewalk?
It's using the sidewalk. So
The sidewalk.
it's and it
So it
has
needs
light.
that LiDAR for one thing to keep from bumping into people or light poles or,
It will.
telephone
And let me
poles.
tell you, that thing will come down the sidewalk, and if there's a person, it'll slow down and kind of move
Mhm,
around you, and it will inch around you. And if you're coming at it pretty quick, it'll just whoop and move out of the way.
mhm,
And of course, these things are relatively expensive. There's some goofy people who've tipped them over and stuff like that. I wouldn't do that if I were you, because
mhm,
you're on camera. That thing is constantly on camera. So if you touch it, it
mhm,
already been ID'd. If you get near that thing, it's recording you. It knows who you are. So
mhm,
technology is something else. And um, the neat thing about it is um, you see these things where people are um, utilizing this type of technology. And here's another point. This lady made a comment and said, "Oh, I don't like AI. It's going to take my job." Well, what they're saying now is, yes, AI can potentially take your job, but you don't have to do that. If you understand it, if you start studying and figure out, well, my job does this, what type of AI could impact my job? And if you
mhm,
start looking at that, you need to say, okay, I need to get with AI because when this thing starts to kind of muscle in and trying to be tough guy or tough girl or whatever AI is, you want to make sure that you know how to control the machine. And see, somebody's got to control this stuff. Somebody's got to program it. This is what the high paying jobs are all about. And there are so many things that are happening. And again, the whole point about this is for every community all across the nation. And they're starting, you know, in the mass media way, but there is a need for it to be really, really niche and inside these housing authorities, because the resident mothers or the people or the executive directors, they need to be sounding the alarm and telling everybody, and all of this information that's out there, they need to be training people. They need to have their community center open at these housing authorities and constantly every day, every night, every weekend running programs and bringing in people to say, hey, do you want to know about AI? Oh, hold on, don't fear it. Do you know, if you know AI and you're an accountant, this thing is your friend. You need to learn how AI can help you in accounting. Instead of you having to sit there and number crunch and keep all these numbers together, you give that stuff to AI. AI says, oh, I got it. And AI is called world knowledge. So it's all the knowledge of the world, all the knowledgeable people who've ever created stuff and built stuff. That knowledge is sitting out on the World Wide Web. Well, the whole thing about AI has just harnessed that knowledge, or has captured it, and now it is usable in packets. And so if you say, well, how does AI work? You know, man, I tell you, they have programs that, you know, you could take a video and run it into an AI program and it cleans it up. If there are pictures that if you want to cut somebody out or cut a background out, you give the picture to AI, a couple seconds, it spits out things. They say AI now is really good because people going into business meetings, they now have programs that will listen to the meeting and spit out a transcript. So as soon as the meeting is over, this thing has spit
You
out
have all the notes. Yeah.
all the notes, everything that was said. So, you know, some people are terrible at taking notes. Well, if you have this AI ability, you can just say, well, I'm going to listen, then I'm going to go back and study the notes. So there's a lot of really neat things there that we can do.
I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I used AI for
Uh-huh.
when my brother was here, when he was getting his cancer treatment.
Mm,
And once he's had the surgery and everything, and he gets home, you know, there's bandage changes that need to happen so many times a day. And
right.
there was medicines, you know, there were some medicines he needed to have 3 times a day. There
Yeah.
was certain nutrition that he had to have 5 times a day. There was other
Uh-huh.
things he needed to have 1 time a day. There was something else he needed to have only once a day, but it had to be, you know, 1 hour
Wow.
before, you know, this other thing. And we were trying to find a routine, you know, where
Right.
we didn't feel like we were just tethered to this paper and trying to figure it out all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I put all the information into Chat GPT, and I
Wow.
said, he needs to have this medicine once a day, an hour before this, and he needs to
Right.
have this medicine 3 times a day, et cetera, et cetera. I put all of that in there and said, please make me a schedule. And
Wow.
it came back and made me a schedule.
Can't
And
beat
I
that.
even got to the point, now it was like 3 pages long, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I said, is there any way for you to get all of this on one page to condense it, you know, bullet it? And it did. And then I think I asked for it because it was giving me all the details, you know, that I was like, I
Uh-huh.
don't need all the details. I just need the schedule. And then I asked it even from there, I think I asked
Wow.
it to tweak it again another way,
Wow.
something that just worked better for us. Anyway, it worked great. I ended up putting it on the inside of one of my kitchen cabinet doors so that I could just open it and I had it right there. And then when
Yeah.
my brother went home, I was able to take it down and hand it to him, and he could take it
Wow.
home and use it. I was like, my brother told me, he said, if I just had it all written down, and I said, I
Uh-huh.
hear you. That's what I want too. But the thought
Right.
of doing that while I'm trying to do all this other stuff for him, because he couldn't care for himself, and I'm trying to, manage
Right.
all his meds and change his bandages and all that stuff.
Wow.
And I thought if I sat down to make this schedule myself, it would take
Right.
me a long time and it would be so stressful because I would be so worried
That's
about,
right.
did I forget anything? Did I miss something? Did I put something in at the wrong time so that he ends up
Wow.
getting overdosed or underdosed? Or, it was just
Uh-huh.
so much responsibility. And I was so grateful that there was a tool out there that was available to me that I could use to actually simplify the whole thing. And then I was able to, of course, go through it and double check and
Mhm.
make sure it was all right. But oh my
Right.
goodness, that was huge. Yeah.
Well, see, you have a real practical example of how AI could help you, and I think that that's why people know or should know not to fear it, to tap in, to try to learn as much as they can about it, and
Hello, EU.
to be able to do as much as they can and to learn. And again, it is really about inspiring and getting the young people all fired up as far as getting them
Mm-hmm,
ready for the future
mm-hmm.
because technology is here. Oh, and I actually had some more wonderful pictures. Here's a nice little group shot of the guys, the gals, the little kids that were there with the
Oh,
robot. They had a good time. And there was another young man there, and he had video games. And so these young people were there playing these video games, but this guy actually has a conference. The one gentleman has a conference where these young people play video games and it's a competition. I mean, they can win $100,000 in these big competitions. But from our standpoint, we're talking to the young people saying, hey, we want you to understand the video graphics. We want you to understand drone activity because a lot of times these video games, you're flying planes and things. A lot of
mm-hmm,
people don't
mm-hmm.
know that they might be playing these video games. Well, the Department of Defense has jobs at $80,000 that they'll hire you for if with that type of skill set.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And there's something
So you're
called
talking
DO.
about like on simulators,
No,
you know?
let me tell you. Yeah, it seems like you're on a simulator. That is war
Mm-hmm,
games. Department of Defense,
mm-hmm,
DOD, they have something called DOD STEM, and they are looking for young people, um, uh, veterans to be repurposed and retrained. And now the war games are far different. It's not about hand to hand combat. You could sit there
mm-hmm.
in a building somewhere thousands of miles away, controlling a drone, and this thing is armed, flying around. We were actually at another conference, which it was a technology conference about AI, and there was people there. Here's another group shot. Now, this is a group shot. The gentleman next to me is Mr. Bennett. He was, he was representing West Point Society, Richmond. The lady next to him in the kind of with the sunburst on her shirt, she
Mhm,
was the
mhm,
executive director from another housing authority. The gentleman behind him, all of these people were dynamos. The gentleman in the red coat to the left and with red
mhm.
and black, he was a guy that was about financing. This young guy, he's talking about financing things in the millions of dollars. And
Wow.
yeah, and the gentleman next to him in the light colored shirt, the long sleeve shirt and the jeans, he was just your average kickback guy. Well, guess what? He is the CEO of a law firm, and he is a child who grew up in a housing authority. Now he's CEO of a major law firm in New York.
Mm. Mm.
So he was there talking to the kids saying, look, I came from a housing authority. My mama was in a housing authority. And I've had relatives that live a couple doors down, but I went on to law school, and now he's a very prestigious lawyer. His
Mm-hmm.
name is Mr. Gilchrist. And,
And there's the
you know,
American dream right there. Yeah.
that is
Love
the
that.
American dream. And that's what it has to be. And it's not a dream. It is a reality. It is a real opportunity. And that's what we, you know, a lot of times I've heard people say, oh, I'm having a dream. I'm like, or I'm dreaming about this. I'm gonna say, you don't want a dream because you can wake up from a dream, and you don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to make it reality.
Right.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
There we go. Put
Yeah,
preach to your
exactly.
dreams.
Yeah, you don't want to wake up from your dream. You definitely don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, and matter of fact, I have another. Let me see. Here's another. Did I have another video? Did I have another video? I thought I had another video. I've got more stuff, but I have to tell you, it is really, really remarkable. The people. And here's a little message right here. You can read this. Read this. Read this for me.
White House initiative to promote excellence and innovation at historically Black colleges and universities.
Yeah. And see, that's a thing that the White House is really wanting to push the initiatives that is from the White House. And again, this was coming from literally that was coming from the Biden administration. And now that is kind of being changed a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is kind of like, well, we we're cutting funding for all the historical Black colleges. And that has everybody kind of panicked and alarmed because they're like, well, why? And
Mm-hmm.
these smaller community colleges that are all across the nation are being defunded, and people are wondering
Mm-hmm.
why. And because it's been and these and a lot of people don't realize what an HBCU, a historical Black college, every historical Black college, the reason why they were even built in the beginning was because they were within a 15-mile range of a housing authority.
Mm-hmm.
And people who lived in the housing authority needed training. They needed, come here, Mika, stop acting crazy. Little Mika, she's jogging through the house. Stop jogging, Mika. Anyway, and she likes to, anyway, but what happened is these housing authorities said, well, we want our residents to be able to have access to higher learning and to be
Mm-hmm.
able to go on from high school, but they don't have the wherewithal to travel long distances, and they're not going to leave because just for circumstances. So these historical Black colleges got built near these
Mm-hmm.
communities where
Mm-hmm.
the people were, and just because it's a HBCU doesn't mean like you only Black people can go there. There's a lot of people of all nationalities that go to historical Black colleges because they just live close to these campuses. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of these things that we're
Uh,
looking at. Uh-huh.
yeah. What I'm hearing is that
Yeah.
actually funding is getting cut to all. Well, maybe not all, but a lot of colleges, not just historically Black colleges.
Right. Well, they
So,
are. That's
yeah, and I think one thing that's happened is the administration has been looking at what the
mhm.
public is getting in return for all the federal
Right.
dollars that have been invested in the colleges. And
Mhm.
tuition keeps going up and up and up. And yet, so many kids are still unemployable when they get out of college
Well,
because
and
they're not
see,
learning what they need to learn or
right.
because yeah. So
And
I
that
think they're looking at all that and they're saying, you know what, we're going to take away some of this funding and we're going to
right.
try to induce colleges to actually become competitive again. as far as
Yeah.
supplying the kind of learning and educational experience that is actually going to
Well,
create jobs or help people get jobs once they get out of college.
well,
Something useful.
they're bringing back the trades because I'm telling you right now, it is necessary
Mhm.
to have the trades, and you know, and it's funny. Yeah, it's I was talking about Mika jogging around. Some he to bring him water. Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, exactly. Well,
With
I have water
honey.
and honey. Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing. But but exactly one of those things is but I'm so excited. I really am because now is the
Mhm.
time for people to see exactly what's going on and to be able to experience things.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, when you start talking about technology, um, there are things out here that are just mind blowing. And a colleague of mine, his name is James Andrew Luna, and he's tailored to the stars. And James has created something called Legally Blind, Legally Blind Clothing and Products. And so this is one of the things, Legally Blind Fashion Line. This is something that we're working on together. And think about this. Picture you see this wonderful hoodie in a sporting goods store, but you're visually impaired and
Mhm.
you really don't know the color, you're colorblind, or you may just be
Mhm.
visually impaired. Well, now we're
Mhm.
going to create tags that have braille on them. And now
Oh,
people can
wonderful.
literally feel and know, oh, this is
Mhm.
green. Oh, it's a hoodie. It's this size. That's what I want.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we're looking
And
at,
even know, maybe even
uh
know the here's what this hoodie is made from. Here's how I need to
everything.
launder it. All
That's
that. That
right.
would be fantastic.
That's right. That's right. And so we're looking at we're looking at some really neat technology, and we're looking at how we can open up the consumer market for the blind
Mhm.
and visually impaired. And
Mhm.
so here's an example. That's me holding a 7-Eleven Fusion can. This is one of their energy drinks. You shouldn't be drinking too many of them, of
Mhm.
course. But my goal is to start to reach out to some manufacturers because when they stamp those cans out, imagine if that can had braille embedded into it. Now,
Mhm.
a person who's visually impaired holding that can will know, oh, I'm having this flavor, I'm having this product. So we are about ready to rock and roll on some major groundbreaking opportunities when it comes down to the blind and visually impaired. My colleague,
Mhm.
James Andrew Luna, has a working relationship going together with the Orange County Braille Institute. And we're
Mhm.
looking at hosting a car show and toy drive and food drive, hopefully here on December 20th. And so it's we're because a lot of people are hurting right now. People are hurting big time, and this holiday season is going to be tight for many, many
Mhm.
people. And a lot of people,
Mhm.
they are like looking at their children and they're like, we got to get it. We're going to have a creative Christmas, you know,
Mhm.
because mom and dad are starting to think about, well, do we need to go out and spend a couple $1,000s on toys and la 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 for the holidays, or should we be holding these dollars in case of an emergency, you know? And so
Mhm.
these are things that are coming up, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about things because of all of the people that I am meeting across the board, and as we keep pushing towards this new movement in technology. And so my colleague who's been on the show, Bill Montgomery from the Hidden Pioneers, he's looking at creating a curriculum for young people and adults called the pocket computer. And as we all know, these are not cell phones.
That's
These
right.
are pocket
Pocket
computers.
computers. That's right.
And what's happening is we are very, very dependent upon these pocket computers. And if you lose it or misplace it, don't you panic a little bit? Yeah, you kind of panic a little bit. Have you ever lost your phone?
Yeah, because now that's right. Our whole lives are in there now.
Right. And so, but at the same time, we need to get back to strengthening our minds and not being so dependent upon these phones. Just for our viewers out there, remember back in the day, you could remember 20, 30 phone numbers. I have to admit, I started thinking about that and I'm like, man, how many phone numbers do I actually remember? And I mean, that is scary.
That's a good point, Rodney, because think about this. If you ever lost your phone and you needed to call a relative or whatever in an emergency, can you imagine being able to borrow someone else's phone, but they don't have your relative in their contact?
No,
And
they
if you
don't.
can't remember that number, you can't call them.
And see, this is a whole nother thing that we need to get ready for in emergency preparedness. They are saying, you need to have so many things prepared. I mean, not to, worry you, but we all need to be prepared. And just like you're saying, what if do you have a little black book with phone numbers in it? Come here, pad. I think I had a little pad. Yep, you need one of these bad boys, one of these good old little notebooks that in the event that something is going on, you keep this on a shelf somewhere that has all your critical numbers. Maybe make 2 or 3 of them. Put one in the house, one in your car. So maybe you can't get to the car or get back to the house. And make sure that you have a handwritten, some type of system that is completely off grid so that if you need good old fashioned phone numbers, you got them. You got something. So please.
So here's a tip.
Yeah.
Here's a tip. If you've got a laptop or a computer, my mom typed it into a document. She shrunk it down really small.
Yeah.
Okay. She printed it out, and you can take it somewhere and have it printed. She happened to have a printer. She printed it out. She made multiple copies. She what do you call that? Where you cover them in plastic? Laminated. That's it. She laminated them. She gave one to each family member and said, stick it in your wallet. And it had all the family members' phone numbers on it.
That's
so
wonderful.
We all had that. Yeah.
Yep. And believe it or not, if you take something the size of a card, you can put quite a few numbers, the most important numbers.
You sure can.
And, you might need to think about that, people, having some kind of fail safe and backup plan. And that is the whole thing. And yes, AC, the Braille Institute is really awesome. And we're looking at putting some stuff together with them. And here's another thing. Check this out. We have talked to a restaurant out here, and they are considering putting Braille in their menus. So now,
I love that.
So now people who are visually impaired, and so this may become a thing that we take to the state, and we hate to kind of, trigger that, but it might be a thing that this might have to be a compliance thing because the blind and visually impaired, if they walk into a restaurant, they don't, how
they
are
don't
they
have
order?
accommodations. Yeah.
They don't have reasonable accommodations.
Unless they can get the waiter to come stand there and read them the menu,
Yeah. So there's a lot of neat things going on, and I'm really excited about what came of this trip. Um, really, it's just the people we met, the young people, they were wonderful. Um, we were able to go to also, so we went from Virginia State University and we took a collection of kids in a van of 8 and we went to New York City to the financial district. So now these young people were able to sit in the financial district of New York and partake and be part of this brain trust, this meeting where we were all discussing about things and trying to plan. And it was really, really
Mhm.
amazing. Again, that was a big thank you to um, the STEM Innovation Networks and the West Point
Mhm.
Society of Richmond. And these young people were able to really engage and see something different. And so we made this trek from Virginia all the way to New York City, and we had a meeting and turned around and came all the way back. And boy, I was pooped. I was really pooped. We had some serious driving, but the young people will never forget that trip. And we had a really, really good time. Really, really
I
good
love
time.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much for telling us all about your trip. I've been waiting to hear this, and it
Yeah.
sounds like it was a great one, and that you know, a lot of people learned a lot and were inspired,
Well,
and
I hope.
that's very encouraging. Yeah.
And remember, people, don't panic because, you know, get involved with AI, get involved, start looking at how can I learn more?
Mhm.
What can I do?
Mhm.
And you know what? You might find this one little thing and how to use,
Mhm.
Chat GPT or AI in your favor.
Listen,
And now,
yeah,
yeah,
and let me point out something. Let me point out something.
sure.
I know it's all new to us and it feels scary,
Uh-huh.
because it seems like, oh my goodness, that could just get out of control so easily. Well, just 30 years ago,
Right.
these were scary too,
Right.
because people didn't have them. We didn't have
That's true.
smartphones yet back then. And it felt scary to move from the rotary phone or the push button phone to this, and to know
Right.
that there was so much more it could do. And now we feel like we can't live without them. They've been so beneficial in so many
Yeah.
ways. So open your mind to this instead of just saying, no, I want nothing to do with it. Start
Right.
saying to yourself, okay, maybe it is a good thing for me, even with my concerns, to come into this space and help contribute um, my thoughts about security and et cetera, while I'm learning this to help other people stay safe too, while we're
Well,
using this.
I'll tell you one thing, but it is shaking up industries like you've never seen.
Mhm,
Because right now, um, the um, music world is being
mhm,
everybody's freaking out because now BMI and ASCAP are starting to look at the okay use of
mhm,
AI in the creation of music, and people are really freaking out because they're thinking like, well, what's going to happen to the real creators? Because now
mhm,
people are taking, like, they're going to AI and asking, hey, give me this kind of beat with this, and this thing is putting music together. So now
mhm,
engineers who used to do all this stuff are sitting here watching AI spit out a music track, and then people are singing on these things and they're cranking out songs. And so now
mhm,
people are very, very concerned about that. And and again, that was one of the things that, Bill Montgomery brought up about this stream music. And
mhm.
he put together a real catchy song
Yeah.
that hopefully
Mhm,
will have to do that, and I'm telling you the
mhm,
truth.
mhm.
Yep.
I think all of us need to, the thing we all need to be prepared for and get used to is to
Uh-huh.
stop thinking in this mindset that we've all had about, I get trained in a certain thing, I do this job my whole life, and then I retire. Instead, we
Right.
should be thinking, I get trained in this certain thing, but I'm going to keep on being trained and keep on
Right.
learning my entire
Yeah.
life so that I can adjust, so that I can pivot, so that I can keep up with it, what's coming up, and still have a part in it
Well, let me
because
share
I'm
one
still
last
learning.
let me share one last thing. I went to the CX Summit, CX. That was this
Hmm.
big, huge conference for AI in Washington, D.C. And this was the whole of government. AI is now looking squarely at the federal government. And think about, hypothetically, just think about you and your whole person, your name, your phone number, blood type, where you live, where you work, where you pay taxes, where your car
Hmm.
registration, all of that information is being filtered into your profile. And what they're saying is now, to stop redundancy and problems and misinformation, AI is being there were companies there that were looking at the federal government saying we can cut all this waste, because there are a lot of applications that get filled out, and once you fill them out, they get approved by a person sitting here reading this thing line by line. They're getting ready to
Hmm.
kill that. And we, some people are like, "Ugh, I'm gonna gasp," because when you hear,
Hmm.
oh my goodness, there was a guy there from General Atomics. General Atomics, they are the people who built the Doomsday drone that everybody's
Hmm.
kind of like, I don't like that thing flying around me and taking my picture, and
Hmm.
that's not right. General Atomics, you know what that guy told me? He goes, I'm with the team that sends this thing up. And everybody was looking at this guy like, doo doo doo. And the whole thing is, that guy said, we have no clue how powerful AI is. And when this guy said what I'm about to tell you, I was like, wow. He said, and I quote, General Atomics has done enough research where they have fully autonomous 747 jets flying coast to coast, unmanned. And he says they have 9 million hours logged of no problems. And I'm like,
Wow.
so I hate to tell you this, folks, you might look up in the sky and that UPS plane flying ain't gonna have nobody on it. It is gonna be fully loaded with cargo, and that thing has a computer that understands everything. It's understanding wind speed, where the foils are set on the plane, what the
Hmm.
engines are doing, engine temperature, what's ahead, lidar, everything. It's
Hmm.
calculating all of this stuff as it's flying.
Hmm.
And so a lot of people are like, and when he said, he goes, listen, you think you freaking out about drones. He said, we got 747s flying around, and it got 9 million hours logged. 9 million hours logged of
That's
various
amazing.
size planes, from drones to
Hmm.
747s,
Hmm.
helicopters, and everything else. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. And so this is where we're going. Matter of fact, they brought up, one gentleman that was at the CX conference was saying they ran he was part of the prototype of having packages delivered by drone. And
Hmm.
he wants to be one of the first people. So soon, just like that little basket coming down the block,
Hmm.
you might be out there and here comes a drone, and it will text you and let you know it's coming, and I'm 5 minutes away and 3 minutes away. Are
Hmm.
you there? Can you text and confirm? Yeah, I'm at home. Can you please walk outside? And this doggone drone lands in the front yard, leaves your package, and takes off.
Wow.
That is the type of stuff that is coming.
Wow, that is amazing.
So
That's
I had
really
a wonderful
amazing.
time. Had a wonderful time. I got more video
Mhm.
and things to show. Yep. And here's a little Squirt. Hi, Squirt. Hi there. Hello.
Hey there,
Yeah.
Mika.
Hi, Mika. Stop it. Stop. Nope. No need for kisses.
All
Stop.
right, Rodney, I'm going to issue a challenge to
Nope.
you.
Yes. What's that?
Next Monday is December 1st.
Yep.
So we're coming into the Christmas season, right?
Yep.
The holidays.
Jingle
So
bells.
I want to issue you a challenge. I want you to start now making a list, and I'm going to do the thing. And next week, we're going to have a show about
Yep.
Christmas gifts, good Christmas gifts that you would want to get that you can actually purchase for under $20.
Hey, nice deal. Nice deal,
Yeah.
huh? You
Yeah.
want a
And we'll
bone?
give y'all some ideas.
You want a new leash?
Yeah.
No,
For
no
the
need for
holidays.
kisses. Yep.
Yeah.
I think she wants a new.
Christmas
She
gifts
might
that you would want to get for
Christmas
under
gifts.
$20. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I look forward
For
to
under
that.
$20.
Wow. What about $20 gifts for you? Yeah, I think she wants a $20
Yeah.
gift. Okay.
Or under. Remember, it doesn't even have to be that much.
Under
$20
$20.
and under. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should have a category of under $5
And is that for next week? Is
next
that for
week.
next? Okay,
Yes.
everybody, get ready. So, hey, listen, everybody. Thank you for watching the This Way Network, the chat session. We love you. We really appreciate your support. Make sure you tell a friend, tell everybody to log on every Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 10:30 Central, and 11:30 Eastern. There we go. Yeah, 10:38. Yeah, there we go. Make sure you guys log in. Oh, come on, Mika, stop. And we want to make sure that you are watching next week because we're going to look at, thank you for the kids. Thank you. And we are going to try to make sure that we have a great kickoff to the holiday season because, yes, you can get some really awesome stuff for under $20. Really great gifts. And I'm thinking of some stuff that I want that would be under $20. All right.
Yeah.
Ready to
Me
go for a
too.
walk? Okay. Yep, I know. She's ready to go for a walk. Well, everybody, that's going to
All
wrap it
right.
up for this week. Stop, Mika. Everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this week of the chat session. And Nina, close us out.
Y'all be of good courage. God is with us, and we aren't alone. Bye, everybody.
God bless. Have a great week. And we'll see you right here next week on the chat session on the This Way Network.